Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. Today in this video I am going to be showing you some things about the new Olo markers that are now available at countrycraftcreations.com and also at the brick and mortar store there in Utah. I'm excited to start coloring with these. I love to color. I am not a pro at coloring, but I do love to color for fun, and I like to share my tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. So stay tuned. Okay, so first thing, these Olos are alcohol ink markers. That means they're made where you can blend. You can use them with other brands if you already have some markers, but I'm going to tell you why I am switching to these because of the where I can customize my marker pens, and I really like that. So at Country Craft Creations, online or in the store, you can get what is called, in each color, there are 128 colors in the Olo markers right now. I'm sure they'll be adding more, but you buy them as a half marker. This is a half marker. And these half markers at Country Craft Creations, she sells the brush tip, which is what I like to color with. Now, with other markers that you may have bought in the past, you may have noticed they were full markers when you bought them. And they had the same color on the pen, but one end was your nib and one was your chisel. If you color like I do and you only use the brush tip, you never touch the chisel. So that's kind of wasted there in that pen. So I have some notes here that I'm going to share with you about these markers. Number one, they are manufactured in Japan. And they have a patented free flow ink system. And what that means, it delivers 2 times the ink, and you get 90% of the ink usage from your marker. It has 2 times the ink of a traditional alcohol ink marker. What it means by free flow ink system is that the ink is free flowing inside your cartridge here. You see it's sealed here on the bottom. It has the cap here with your brush nib here on the end. Other markers have like a felt piece that goes in, and the ink is soaked into that felt, and that's why as you use those markers, they start kind of drying out on you when you're coloring. These are free flowing, and you're going to utilize 90% of the ink that is in this. So now what I like about these, when you order 2, and the black barrel means it is a brush. If it's a lighter gray color, a lighter color than this, that means it's a chisel. So when you order 2 half markers, and the price point for these are $4.10 each. So that means when you get a long pen, you're spending $8.20. That's a really good buy if you check it out, the other markers, because you're getting to use more ink. But when you order 2, and they don't have to be with the same color, you can customize your pens the way you want to. I hope I'm making sense. You get a free, what's called a connector, this ring that looks like that. And when you get your markers, and what I am doing is I'm putting mine together in color families with a lower number and a little bit darker number so that I can blend with that marker. But if you end up wanting it a different way, you can always change these. See, this just, you just screw it on like that. If you want to change it, you take it off, and you take your other half and you put them together just like this. Okay, so now I have a full marker pen to color with, and on the end I have my lighter color, my RV 0.4 and my RV 0.6, and I'll go over those in just a bit, the different numbers. So now I have a customized coloring pen because I like to color with this and this together. Does that make sense? So I'm not digging around. I can put together the 2 blending colors. Now, I know other people show you blending with 3 colors, and yes, that is the way to blend, but you can blend with just 2. And so this is why I like a little bit lighter and then a little bit darker on my pens. So this here is the R04 and the R05 that I used on this balloon. And you can change these at any time and customize these. Now, when you order your colors, you're going to also want to get what's called the 0. 0 means no color. It's not an eraser. Your 0 marker is absent of color and is used to dilute the color on your image, add texture, or fix mistakes. You can push, if you go outside the line, that means when you go outside of the line, you can use this marker to push your color back in. Now mine has a brush and mine has a chisel. This was given to me as a birthday present, so that's the way it came from wherever it was purchased. I would probably prefer to have just the brush and a handle, because that's the other neat thing about these when you're customizing. If you just want one color, one half marker, but you don't want to color with it short like this, see that's kind of short to color with, you can purchase a handle, and I think you get 2 to a pack. I'm not positive on that, but it's $3.98 for a handle. And so you can buy a handle that with your connector you can screw in and you have a longer pen, but it's just the one color. So half markers at Country Craft Creations come as a brush, and they're $4.10 each. You can order a handle for $3.98. If you're going to put them together, when you order 2, you're going to get a free connector, so you can connect into one big pen. If at any time you're going to be ordering some single colors because of your budget or whatever, and you don't get that free connector and you're going to want to connect it to something else later, you can order a pack of connector rings for a pack of 10 for $2.50. Okay. Right now you don't need to worry about replacement nibs or anything. I do know that you can buy a pack of 5 brush nibs for about $6.30 and a pack of 10-pack of chisel nibs for $6.30. The chisels are cheaper, but and you could do that if you want to make some of your pens. Say you do want chiseled, you do want to on certain colors for calligraphy. You could have the same colors with chisel on one end and the nib on the other, which is what the other markers come as, and you would put in a chisel in the other end. And your nibs are easy to replace. You just pull them out with the tweezers in and out. So that's, it's not a problem to just change that. That's why these markers are kind of considered like a DIY. You can customize them by how you like to color with the colors on your single marker that you like. Now, some people have asked, how do you refill these? Do you refill them the same as the other markers? And the answer is no. These, you replace the cartridge. So say when my R04 runs out of ink, because they will, if you color a lot, you're going to run out of ink. You will go and order just the R04 cartridge, and a replacement cartridge runs $2.69. You buy that, you keep your cap here, you keep the cap, you take your tweezers, you pull your nib out, put it into the new cartridge, replace the cap, and you're ready to go. There is no holding it over the trash can, pouring ink, squeezing in, not knowing if it's full, overflowing, making a mess. It's just a cartridge that you replace. Very simple, very neat, very clean, and they are not recyclable though, because it's an ink system, so you would just throw your empty one away. So that's how that works for refill, in case you're wondering about that. So you can refill. You're not going to have to go out and buy a whole bottle of one ink color that costs almost the same as your marker and have that stored away somewhere to have available to fill. You will only order a cartridge when you need it, and it's $2.69. So that's really great on that. Okay, see, I've covered that they came from Japan, that it's a patented free flow ink system, and 128 colors. And you do want to order, if you want the free connector, you order 2 half markers at a time. Okay, and oh, and other people want to know, how do you store them? You can store them any way you want. And I have mine in this neat little bucket that I got. My Valentine candy came in, and it's glass, but I think it's so pretty. Look at it. Can you see? Okay, and it's going to hold my markers just great. You can store them vertically like that, or horizontally laying in a box, whichever you want to do. It does not affect the ink in this free-flowing cartridge. Okay, already told you can purchase a handle. I'm looking at my notes, so I don't want to miss anything. I told you about the zero. I told you about how you refill and buy a new cartridge. And the great thing about this is that you can customize them. You choose your ink color and you choose your nib. If you're buying from Country Craft Creations, you will get just the brush. She carries the brush nib on these markers, which if you're coloring like I am for your stamped images, that's what you're going to want anyway. Okay, so the number system. Yeah, we need to go over that, the number system. Okay. Let me put these back in. We're going to use this, for example. You can go to olomarkers.com and print out a color chart. And I'm going to be coloring this in with my markers so I know which ones I have. And I like this chart that is divided into color families. So you have your red, red, violet, violet, blue, violet, blue, blue, green, green, yellow, yellow, orange, and orange reds. There's a lot of orange reds. Red, gray, warm gray, cool gray, and black. So that's your color families. So on the ends, on the cap, you will notice the letters. RV for this one means red violet. So I have 2 RVs together. That's the same family. Your next number is, which is your first number, is your saturation level, which is the amount of grayness in it. So the lower the number, the less it has in it. The higher, the darker, the more it has in it. Your second number after the dot is your light to dark. So this RV 0.6 versus this RV 0.4. With the O's, they're in the same saturation family, but the 4 is lighter than the 6. So did I do it on these red violet? I haven't colored with this one yet. So we have RV 04. RV 04. I'm going to color in that circle. It's got the number there. But I want to show you the difference in those colors. And with these markers, you do want to be real light-handed with them because it's free-flowing, so you get more ink coming out. This is your RV 0.6. So I'll color this one in. So you'll see that the colors are very similar, but the 6 is definitely darker than the 4. Right there. These right here. Okay, so I know that I have these. I've already started coloring some. I haven't done them all. So when picking out your colors, you're going to need to decide if you like lighter. I tend to lean toward light, but I did get some dark colors because you do have to use them sometimes. So I would recommend maybe going with your zeros first and your ones, and then, pick 2 from each of those. But, it's customizable. You can do whatever colors you want. Oh, okay. The other thing is when you're using stamped images, now this is a stamp by Pink and Main that I got from Country Craft Creations. It's an adorable balloon set like this. I think it's called Floating By. Got little animals and the balloons and some sayings. If you like to make cards and you haven't gotten into coloring yet, you're going to really like this, being able to stamp your images, color them, cut them out. These you can buy dies or you can freehand cut them out. or you can just stamp your image on your card base and really enjoy making cards by coloring, and it's very relaxing and very fun. Now the paper that you're going to want to use, this is a very, very smooth blending paper. I believe it's Express It. I haven't tried this out on any other colors. I really like it on the Express It. You can check it out. You want something smooth so that your ink's not being pulled in there. You also always want to color on some kind of pad. I use another paper pad, not ink coloring, because it will bleed through like that. And this is what you want to see. This is normal coloring. This is how alcohol inks come through the backside. This shows that I'm getting the ink on there good. And so that is what you want to see. But you do want the paper you're coloring on to be as smooth so that you can blend really well on that. So today we're not going to really do a lot of coloring because I want to give you all time to decide and maybe pick out your marker colors. When you go on countrycraftcreations.com, just in the search bar type in Olo markers and all the colors will come up, and they are given to you by the color letters and the color of the markers, the RV 0.4, etc., etc. Now, if you like to know the names of your colors, well, Olo has put these labels on here. And so I can look at it and I know that the RV 0.4 is hot pink. And the other one, the RV 0.6 is dragon fruit. So if you like to know the names, they're on there. But when you go to order them, you're going to be ordering by the letter and the number. It's not going to show the name of the colors, okay? But there is a good swatch or photo with each marker when you click on it to show you the color, so you can look at that. Okay, so let's color this red heart. Now, suppose you only have one red, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. How do you get a shading like this when you only have one color? Well, I use a gray, and I'm going to pull out my CG5 and have it laying here. And first I take my darkest red and I'm just going to color my balloon. Now, these stamps by Pink and Main, they've already got the little highlight. You want your darker colors, so that would be like your light is here. This little circle here is where the light reflection is hitting it. So that's where that hits. So it's going to be darker on this right side where it's not getting the light on it. Okay? If you don't have the little highlights with your stamped image, you're going to leave those yourself or use them with, create them more with your 0 marker. But I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to start coloring, and I like to be very careful around the edges. And you turn your image around and just use the very tip of it and brush right along that coloring. Same rule applies as when you were in kindergarten. Color within the lines. Unless you're just rogue and you like to be outside of the lines, well, I guess then go ahead and do that. But if you want a pretty image, stay within your line. What if you go outside your line? Well, that's when you use that 0 to push some of that color back. If you get too close to the line, it will flow out, even if you don't put it there. So right here, you'll notice I'm very gently coloring around that highlight circle. And down here where the little bottom of your balloon is, I just barely touch, tap with the tip of my brush so that it doesn't bleed out. So I'm going to go back and keep coloring. And you're going to see, I'm going to show you just a second here, on the back side, that color coming through. And that's why you want to protect your table surface with another pad of paper underneath there. So I'm filling this all in nice and even to circles. Okay, and then I'm going to take my gray, my darker gray, the 5. This side has the 3 and this has the 5. And on that right side of my balloon, right along the edge, I'm going to color with the gray. This is for if you only have one pin in your color. Then I go back to my red and I color over that to blend that line. So right on top of the gray, you add some red, and because it's an alcohol marker, it's going to feather that out and blend that color, just like that. And that's how you can get a shadow on just one color of blending. Okay, so maybe let's try a different color. See what I have here in the blue. So I'm going to do this blue one down here. This is the B4.6. So that means it's darker, and I'm using a B.3 that's a lot lighter. So I'm going to come in here on my darkest side, and I'm going to put the darker color down first, right in here. And I'm going to tap and fill in that tail of the balloon there a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to take my lighter color and I'm going to color over that dark one, and I'm going to bring it out with this lighter one. And I do have a little bit where it bled over the line, and I'm going to show you using that 0 here. Just a second. I'm going to carefully go around my light spot. Color this all in. Nice circular smooth motion. And I'm going to go over here and start blending out from the dark, blending it over to this side. I may need a little more in there. Okay, so now, I don't know if you can see it, where it kind of pushed over a little bit. I'm going to just take the 0, it has no color, and start pushing it back towards, pushing that blue back within the line. So some people think, oh, it's erasing it, but it's not. It's pushing it back into the image. So be very careful as you're pushing it in, and you're going to have to let it dry a little bit. Now I'm going to show you with this how you could add texture to this balloon. We could do little dots. Just with the tip, and it's going to very lightly add some dots, if you can see that, to the balloon. So that's how you do that. So I'm going to let this dry right here and push in some more. And remember, that's going to be cut out if you wanted to cut it out with a die, which I do have the dies to put that on a card. But that's how you add a little bit of texture and how you do a little bit of blending with two colors. Okay, so I don't want this video to be too terribly long. I'm going to play with my markers more. I am going to take my card here and color everybody in, and next time I'll have that all colored so I can see what markers I do have. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. Remember to use Memento type ink for your images, you need a fade resistant ink that can handle alcohol markers, and Memento is the one that I use all the time, that it doesn't bleed when you're coloring with your alcohol markers. I will check to see what other brands can be used with alcohol markers and have that for you next time. And I'll decide what we're going to color then. Maybe we'll do some flowers or something. But anyway, have fun with your markers when you order them. Get the colors you like, and it's just, don't stress about it. Have fun coloring with the Olo markers. Check out countrycraftcreations.com and just search for Olo markers, and they'll all pop up, all 128 colors, and you can choose what you want. Remember, you order 2 of the half markers, you get a ring for free to put them together. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, give me a thumbs up, like, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.